Flosstube friends, it's time for another episode. Hi everybody, and welcome to another Fun Friday Flosstube weekly update with me, or bi-weekly update with me. I am Annie Joyfield Stitcher, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. And this is Flosstube number 126. It has been 2 weeks since my last Flosstube. There's been a lot going on in life. I will share that at the end because I know not everybody is here for the life update, but they love the stitching. So I guess you love the stitching. I don't know if that's how you showed up here or not. So yeah, I am coming to you a little bit earlier on in the day. Again, I will share more in life updates. But let's get to first things first. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. If this is, if you're a repeat viewer, if you are brand new, thank you so much for joining me for this video. And I hope you like or see something that brings you joy and you'll come back and hang out with me again. I'm kind of on this every week, every 2 weeks kick right now. It just depends on kind of what's going on in life. Things have been busy this week and last week, but like I said, I'll get kind of back into that here in a minute. But let's talk about hugs. On this channel, I give virtual hugs, and we do one on each side, and then we give ourselves a nice big old hug, and it's just a way to kind of uplift each other. It started way back in like the early summer, late spring of 2020, maybe? It's been a while. We've been doing this for a while. So let's get our hugs in. Come on, let's get in for a hug. Come on, this side first. Hug. We're going to do a hug on this side. And a hug here. So it is Friday morning about 10:30. I am going to try to film this all in one whack, but I don't know if that's going to happen. The little one has Zoom at 10:55. Again, more on that later. So let's get to showing what I've worked on. So I actually have worked on a fair few different projects. Nothing really had a birthday towards the end of October or November. I actually have no projects with birthdays in November, but I'm probably going to rectify that today and tomorrow. We shall see. So let's start with, what do we want to start with? Let's start with Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is their current, stitch along, start along. It is called Lucky Nutcracker, hashtag Lucky Nutcracker Sal. I feel like there's 1 or 2 more parts still left. I feel like maybe one is coming out next week, possibly. I did work on this quite a bit. And I am using the beautiful flosses on the cards from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I was gifted this chart, the PDF stitch along, as well as the materials from Sally at Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I have linked the information in the description box in the last few videos as I've talked about it. But I'm so excited because my tree is nearly done. I did finish doing the other half of the crosses on the tree. I filled in all the ornaments. I did the trunk. I started on a present. And I do need to come back in and do the garland, and then the tree itself will be finished. Now, since then, we've also had the Rat King put on, the Nutcracker itself. So needless to say, I'm significantly behind, but I love this. It's on, I believe, a 16 count white Zweigart Ada, and the needle minder is also available from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I love it. It's fantastic. My back is a tragic hot mess. I even have scissors stuck to my needle minder. That's how strong they are. They hold the little tiny snips and my needle. My back is a bit of a disaster, but that's okay. I felt like I'm going to carry these threads. It is what it is. So anyway, I did work on that, and I love this for some good car stitching, or, you know, I've kind of done it with car stitching, or when I just want like some big blocks of color. I had all those trees kind of half stitched, so I just had to go back through and then figure out which ornaments went where. I also worked, I believe, some more since last time. This was my birthday start this year. This is the Prairie Schoolers Prairie Fairy. Prairie Fairies. It's book number 210. This was a re-release. Back in the late 90s, maybe even to the early 2000s, they released these on cardstock cards. Highly sought after. I could typically find this one, but it was always overpriced. And usually this one. but these 3 were a little bit harder to source. And I was like, you know what? I will just wait and see. Maybe someday they'll re-release them. And guess what? They did. And they released them all in one booklet. So how awesome is that? And I worked on this a bit more. I have my Little House on the Prairie needle minder, which is from Mad for Minders. And this is on that 18 count light gray gingham Ada. I purchased this from Fat Quarter Shop. I have 3 of the outlines done. I am doing 5 down in one long row like a bell pull. And I've been working on the wings of the bluebird. And I did a full color conversion to things from my stash because I just had to. I just had to. It wasn't an option. So I went very bright, very fun. I know there's lots of folks that are in the camp of do not change Prairie Schooler colors. I did. I will probably continue to, because if it speaks to me in a different way, then I'm going to do it the way that it speaks to me. And in this case, this spoke to me to be bright. Where did I put my other project? Oh, well. Okay, so next up. Oh, yes, I worked on, this is another stitch along. This is the Noel sampler. This is a current stitch along from Satsuma Street. You can purchase it on the Etsy. Part 3 released yesterday. I just haven't had a chance to print out the kind of infographic from the front of the PDF. So there is one more part in 2 weeks. It's not too late to join. You can join at any time, actually. I am stitching mine with all of the motifs, but not the word Noel. I am contemplating stitching the Noel separately, but I decided I wanted to stitch mine as a 3x4 kind of long, long and skinny. I'm going to make it, I think, a pillow. This is on 16 count Dove Gray Ada, and I ironed it, so that's why I was making it all nice. I had it all rolled up, and I'm using a needle minder that came in, I think it was last year's Nice List box from the Black Needle Society. It's very heavy. So this is the outline. It's not much, but I wanted the outline done because now I get to go in with all of the super fun bright colors and basically do some very cool motifs. So let me show you the colors. I'm going to roll this back up so it stays all nice until it goes back in my Q-snap, and then it gets crunchy again. It's very crunchy, crunchy Ada because it's just like the stiffest of stiff. I have all of my flosses. These are the called for on some of the Santa Baby floss bitties that I bought last year, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them. Well, guess what? I wanted to put my DMC on it for this because it's all just DMC, but look how bright and fun that is. Like, it just screams Satsuma Street, and it screams incredible. So, love it. Love it, love it. Let me put it back in here. It will get folded back up, but for now, I thought, let's keep it nice. Let's keep it nice. All right, next up, this was one I worked on, and I did show you in my last time that we came together. But I worked on it some more since my last video. This is Modern Folk Embroidery. This is Noel Pillow Pattern. I purchased this off of the Modern Folk Embroidery website as a PDF. I am stitching this on 18 count Rose Ada from Color and Cotton. And I am stitching it with Color and Cotton flosses in the color Carmine, which is this very pretty rosy red hue. And the last time I showed this, I had said that I wanted to have the oval done. So at this point, the whole border is complete, as well as the oval, kind of that separates this outside border from the inside motifs and the word Noel. So I would say I don't have that much left to do, but it is still quite a bit of stitching left to do. I have the whole of Noel, and there's some like vintage looking ornaments to stitch, but I love how this is stitching up. It's so cute. And one of the driving forces behind me not super focusing on the Noel part of the Noel sampler is that this says Noel, and I think it will go along and kind of, well, it'll be a little bit different looking because that's so whimsical, and this is more like vintagey looking, but I think that that's a cool twist on it. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. All right, so let me show you one of my finishes. Yes, I have two. I have two finishes this week, and I'm super pumped. The first one is by Satsuma Street, and this is Libra. I purchased this from their Etsy shop as a PDF pattern. I started this actually just back in May, I believe. I think I started this in May. Not that long ago. I do know that much. I stitched it in the called for DMC on just some 18 count Navy Aida. I did iron it. It still has some fuzzies on it, but it's finished. Let me put something behind this. Let's see if I can put this behind it and it'll look better. There we go. So I love this. I was super drawn, and it was in May because it was at the end of Mania, I believe is when, or May, whatever I called May. I don't remember. I don't think I called it Mania. But anyway, I love the bright colors. This is just the charted DMC. Jody has such an eye. Jody Rice, who is the incredible designer behind Satsuma Street, has such an eye for blending of colors and unique color combinations. I also just love this, and this was the story that I talked about, that I think this is like Mama Bird and Baby Bird. I have always had kind of this thought about bluebirds when it comes to Joy-Filled Little One. So it's like Mama Bluebird, Baby Bluebird, kind of getting ready to fly. So I just don't know. I just love it so much. I was excited to get this one finished. It was a fun stitch towards the end of October. I am a Libra, and so it seemed fitting to work on it towards the end of October. Plus, it was on my Whip Go board. And yes, you may be thinking, wait a minute, Annie, how did you start this in May, but it was on your Whip Go board? Well, you see, when I make my Whip Go board, there is a chance that something will get UFO'd and something needs to take its place. So this took that spot. And so in order for my Whip Go to be met on that, it needed 7 days. Well, it took 6 days to finish it. So it still is accomplished because I didn't need 7 days. I needed 6. And I've come to find that has been the case a lot this year with Whip Go. I'm doing actually really well with my Whip Go. I have a few projects I need to revisit, so November's going to come in very handy for that. And actually, I pulled out another one that needed some time, and it got a finish as well. So that is Barbara Anna Designs, Dreaming Girl. I only have the first release. I started this as the Sal back when it was first released, I believe back in April, I believe. And I went whole hog on it for a really long time. And then I put it away for quite some time. And then it might have needed about 7 days to meet its Whip Go goal. I finished it in about 6. I think Libra only needed 5 and I finished it in 4. I'm not sure. I've ironed it. So yet again, it's super nice and rolled up. I finished it yesterday. I haven't posted on Instagram yet because I wanted to show it here first, but she's finished. Yay! I did a little bit of a deeper conversion to her skin, but everything else remains the same. I will say I filled in this hair last, this bottom part of her hair, and whew, it's a lot of hair she has. It's beautiful. I love the nod to spring, summer, winter, and fall, or winter, spring, summer, fall. Anyway, I think this is super cool. I don't know how I'm going to finish it. I love me some Barbara Anna. So this was super fun to stitch. This is on, I guess I should tell you, it's kind of the charted DMC except for the deepening of some colors. This is on a 16 count color and cotton in a limited edition mystery back from the first go round when I was in their fabric club back in like early 2019, and it just was perfect. This was kind of very close to the charted color, or the way that it looks in the mock-up. More on Barbara Anna here in a little bit because she is part of my Joy-Filled Stashy Stash time. Let me put my little Wonder Clips back on here. And by the way, I love Wonder Clips. They have come in so handy with the quilting that I've been doing. But they're also fantastic for just clipping. But I will tell you, I bought some real Wonder Clips, and then I found out you can buy them in large, massive quantities on Amazon in a cute container. Mine has Beatrix Potter on it for a fraction of the cost. fraction of the cost. All right, so I am actually currently working on this. So it has a, this is this month's Whip Go, and it needs 14 days. But I'm doing it just a little bit at a time. This is Modern Folk Embroidery. This is Spring Dance. This is a terrible copy, like it's not in any protection, but it's super cute. I started this in May of 2020. I am not stitching the big thick border. This inner flower border will be the last detail. And I said I wanted to start it in May because it reminds me of maypole dances. And I am stitching in this some beautiful silk from Silks For You. Silks For You? Yes. I think it's PR052. So it's a turquoisey into like a dusty blue color. Love it. And this is on, let me see if I have the fabric tag in here. I do not. What is this on? 18 count Mummy Ada. So Mummy is the colorway by Be Stitch Me. And yes, it's PR052. Started May 7th of 2020. And this is where I am so far. So I'm hopeful that I've already kind of worked on this today. I finished out, I did this whole flower and all of this motif right here. I'm going to probably set myself about a 30-minute stitching limit on this each day and consider that good. I might go longer, but I know I want 30 minutes and it needs 14 days. So day one accomplished. We'll see how far I get. I have no plans to have that finished in 14 days, but I might hit a run on it. I don't know. And then the last project I need to show because it's awesome, is Long Dog Samplers High and Dry. This is another one I started this year. Love it. I think I showed this last time because this needed some days to finish out Whip Go. It's done, so that's good. Stitching this color in cotton. This is Blush 16 count Ada that I purchased, I think, when it was like a ready to ship. I've had this out last night and a little bit, no, last night I worked on this some more. And if you were here for my last video, I talked about how I was not loving the one strand. I love stitching 2 strands and I love the loop method. To me, it's just faster. I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea. So I had a query about what would it look like if I switched from the 1 strand of the sulky to 2 strands of just DMC Blanc or whatever DMC white was closest to that. And I did switch, and it's maybe a little bit visible in like this back stitching up here, but to me, it doesn't look bad in my opinion. Needle Minder is from Mad for Minders. So I have worked on the other side of this tree over here. I finished out all of this. I came down here and started on the little like road or grass and the flower and this, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it looks like is it Wren or Stimpy? I don't know. But anyway, so this interesting dog of some sort, and then this little tree, and now I've come up here and this is a whale wearing a crown. Yeah. A whale or spouting out some water that looks like a crown. So this is just the coolest long dog. I love it. I love the pink fabric. It's so me. I'm loving stitching with the white. It's popping so nice. So yeah, I am going to probably, it's met its Whip Go goal, but I'm loving it. So I'm kind of in a monochrome kick right now. So that is all she wrote for what I worked on, which was quite a bit. And I know you're seeing my bonkers, I don't want to say crazy, I don't like that word, my bonkers looking hair, but it is what it is. It's a Friday morning. So let's quickly talk about what I am planning on starting. So as to what, I just threw some stuff on the floor. As to what I'm going to be actually stitching on, I don't know. I'm not being driven right now by any projects with birthdays. So I'm kind of free to work on whatever I want to work on. So I was browsing. Well, what led me to this was browsing through Instagram and seeing some of Carolyn Manning's new beautiful designs. And I have for a while wanted to stitch something of hers. I think it's a good parlay into full coverage because she loves some full coverage. However, it's not as intricate. It's big blocks of full coverage. However, when I went to the website, I bought a few things. Her charts are very reasonably priced. I've kitted up a few. I did that yesterday afternoon, but this is the one I want to start first. So this is Rockhound This is Carolyn Manning Designs. I bought it off of her website in PDF form. Now I will tell you, as beautiful as I love this. It reminds me of my brother's rock collection growing up, and we used to go to the rock shop and find agate slices and geodes and all things like that. So I love it. However, what it's lacking for me is brightness. So I went through and I added some other colors in the mix. I took out quite a bit of the brown, quite a bit of the like browny greens, like the olivey greens, and I brightened things up because that's what I do. That's what I do. So I'm going to be stitching this on a perfect piece, in my opinion, of Color and Cotton 18 Count Ada. This was the September 2020 fabric. Prairie Dust is the name. I have a thing for prairie, apparently. It has some étoile. There's a few other colors that are missing, but I have those on order. And then I went through and did a hand-dyed floss conversion. And I actually have a Dinky Dyes that was a kind of misfit that I purchased from their website. I don't know that I'm going to have enough, so I've ordered another skein of this. This is Midnight Rendezvous 256 Dinky Dyes. And then I've got a slew of really beautiful flosses to make this just, I think, sing. I will go more in depth as I start this and I show it in my next go round of video as to if I like these colors. I don't really want to tell you what they are yet, other than the few that I did. It calls for the étoile, which I think is really cool that Carolyn Manning is already calling for multiple étoile. I just don't have the colors because I sent some in some Happy Mail, and it happened that the ones I sent were the ones I need, but I can easily get those from the Joann's or the Michael's up the street. So I'm planning on starting that today. And the other one that I want to get started this weekend is the Stitchin' Mommy Temperature Butterflies. So lots of you had great feedback, and I had already pretty much decided that I wanted to stitch it with the 2012 numbers. So I've started collecting the 2012 numbers. A couple people brought up a good point, which I realized myself, that 2012 was a leap year. This only has 28 spots in February, so I'm going to have to do some configuring with February's to add an extra stitching spot. We'll see how that goes. So I am going to be stitching this on this super cute baby blue 18 count gingham from Fabric Flair. And I am stitching it in the varied colorway, but I had done some color changes in the reds, the upper oranges and reds. And I have started collecting my data for 2012. That is the year my daughter was born. And somebody had a great idea of stitching like her birthday spot on it if it coincides well with étoile. And I think it actually might. I need to look again, but I'm fairly certain it's a golden yellow color. And there are a couple of really good golden yellow étoiles. So I loved that idea. Thank you so much. I actually have this in a So Much to Love bag that has been sitting in my collection unused for quite some time, and it's perfect. It is perfect. So I want to get this started, and when I say started, I will probably just be working on outlines to begin with and then treat it like a coloring book. But I might do all the outlines first. I'm kind of like a glutton for punishment, let's be honest. But I think I'm going to take a pause real quick. It will just be a second for you, or less than a second for you, but when I come back, we'll do Joy-Filled Stashy Stash, and I'll do some life update. So hang tight, sit still, go get a drink, although you don't have to pause, because like I said, it's only going to be like a second, but I got to get off for a little bit. So, see you in a bit. Alrighty, it's been about 2 hours, and I am back to share with you what came in the mail this week and some life update. So let's start with Joy-Filled Stashy Stash time. It's Joy-Filled Stashy Stash hallelujah time. So let's talk about what came in the mail over the last 2 weeks. Not a ton. The first is my fabric for my Starry Night month 2. This is the fabric for Joseph. I started sewing on the first block, which is Mary, and I made a couple of mess ups with the sewing. And it was just user error. It was me not noticing where I needed to put seam allowances and things like that. So I've got a little bit to finish up on that piece. And then I'm going to start in on Joseph. But so far, super fun. Definitely more challenging than what I've been used to in the past with all the curved seaming. But the ruler makes it such a unique thing. Like, I love that this company, It's So Kind of Wonderful, came up with a product where you can do these curved cuts so easily. So that came, I have until about Thanksgiving week before the next month will come. And so I'd like to say that my goal would be to have both those blocks done. And if they are, I will definitely show them in my next video. Then, Color and Cotton put up some thread grab bags on their site, and I restrained myself and only got 2. So this first one came with kind of more along the prim lines. There's no, like, they don't say prim or neutral. They literally say thread grab bag. So I got a limited edition, which is really pretty. This is Brandy, which I've had before, but my skein's getting kind of low. Medallion, which is beautiful. This is Tiramisu and Saguro, which is a cactusy color. So those are beautiful. That would make a lovely color palette for something. So that was my first pack that I received. And I just have an email notification when they go on sale. Same with if they do the fabric grab bags. You can do that on the website. Sometimes I'm lucky, sometimes I'm not. It depends on when I actually see the email. And then this is my second set of 5 that I received, which is very wintry. It's kind of very Elsa. So I have Northern Lights, which is beautiful. Buttermints. Purple Geranium. Carolina Blue. And Rain Washed. I love Rain Washed. It's one of my favorites. I've used it in several projects. So always happy to have more of that. So those are so pretty. I love the thread grab bags. I love now that they're actually either named or they just say like limited edition on them. Because back in the day when they started doing thread grab bags, they didn't have names on them. So in my spreadsheet, I just put like number 3 and write number 3 on the back. But it makes it hard to do color conversions and share those with y'all if they don't have names. But that is what it is. So I just say, oh, it's a, whatever. And then my last piece of haul is a Nitka Moscow Barbara Anna kit. They just released 2. They released Moths and Mushrooms. And you actually got a bit of a discount if you ordered both. I chose one. I was being good yet again. But the mushrooms just didn't speak to me. But I did go ahead and get Moths. So this is Moths. And it comes with the pattern. Super huge. It came with some beautiful even weave. Mushroom kind of colored even weave. Looks to be about like a 25 count. And then the flosses are gorgeous. So I'm super excited. This is going to go in my Crofis. I don't know when it will get started, but yeah, I was excited to get this. It shipped super fast this time. It's just hit or miss as to how quickly it comes or doesn't come, and I love that it's in this tube, so it gets stored so nicely. And then it comes with the card on the outside, which I then put in the project bag. The tube usually goes away once I start it. So that is all that she wrote about haul, stash and haul. So, little life update. Let's see. So, the last we spoke was on October something. I'm trying to count back in my head, but it's not working very well. 31st, 30th, 29th. The 22nd? I think the last time we spoke was on October 22nd. So since then, we've had Halloween, which we did not get to participate in, and I will explain that in a moment. We've finished the first quarter of school, which is awesome. We're well within the second quarter of school, which is equally awesome. I'm still loving my job. Joy-filled little one is growing academically, emotionally, socially, every which way she can. She's just a super cool human at this point. Young lady, very mannered. I love it. However, on this past, not yesterday Thursday, but a week Thursday, so the 28th, my friend who, she's a coworker of mine. She is the counselor. She gives out praise cards, and Joyfield Little One's class received one because they had had a sub the entire week previous due to the fact that her teacher had insert pandemic level virus here. And so when they went to get their praise card picture taken and they got to pick a trinket, she chose an eraser that was scented, but it was in the original packaging because, due to sanitary reasons and things like that. So my friend said to Joyfield Little One, "Hey, I can't wait to hear how that smells." So it was supposed to smell like a coffee flavor, like a latte flavor, because it was like, I think the eraser said, "Jesus loves you, a latte." A little punny. And so about midday, she had popped in my classroom. I was on break from a class. She was making some copies, and she goes, "Oh, funny story. When Joyfield Little One got her eraser, she said she couldn't smell it." And I thought, okay, that's odd. So I had seen her teacher walking to get them from their art, because they had gone from enrichment straight to art. Art is a separate thing from their enrichment schedule. And I said, "Hey, will you have her come see me on y'all's way back inside?" And so I smelled the eraser, and it smells. And so at that point I said, "Okay, we'll smell one of my essential oils." She couldn't smell it. I said, "Here, taste this." And it was a Dum Dum lollipop, and she could not taste it very well. And said, "Okay, we're going down to see the nurse." So we went down to see the nurse. She had a rapid test in the office, and it was negative. However, she still could not smell. She could not smell peppermint essential oil. She could not really taste the peppermint that was in her mouth. And so at that point, it was determined that we needed to go talk to the pediatrician and get a regular test, like another test. And so we were sent home with instructions that do not return until you have some better answers. So Friday, we went and saw her we saw her pediatrician. We had a car visit, which meant that we were in the car and they came out in full gear. And they did another rapid test, and it was also negative. Fast forward to the fact that I no longer trust rapid tests. They said, however, due to kind of where she is symptomatically, we're going to send you to the Children's Hospital's drive-through PCR test on Saturday. So we were there at 8:45. They open at 9. We were the second car through the line. And then late that night it came through. I didn't see it until early Sunday morning. She is positive. So at that point I was like, oh goodness. So of course I had to put everything in motion, because I'm clearly not going to be at work because somebody has to watch her, and she's not going to hang out with the grandparents during all of this. And at that point it was determined I needed to go have a PCR test, because I wasn't doing rapid. And so, needless to say, she has not seen grandparents. Normally she spends Fridays with them. She also, my mom picks her up to take her to her yoga class on Tuesdays. That obviously is not happening. I've not been at work all week. I had to cancel my after school art classes. Thankfully there's a week in the schedule to make that up. And she's been doing her Zooms and her schoolwork and everything from home. Thankfully, we had so many instances of this process last year that the teachers has just, like, she's just on top of it. And it's been wonderful. I cannot praise that system enough. Right now she's in there on a break and painting, because that's what she wanted to do. And I'm like, hey, go for it. We've been going on daily walks up and down our street. She's been scootering. She fell off her scooter on Tuesday and ripped her hand open and her knee and her elbow. But she's good. She scootered again yesterday, and I was really proud of that she, got back on. She was bummed she didn't get to go pass out candy at my parents' house on Sunday, which is their tradition. She was bummed because they were going to get to wear their costumes to church on Sunday and count double during their attendance contest. She didn't get to do that. They did book fair preview, which anybody that knows my child knows that she is a derivative of me, which means I remember the excitement of book fair preview day. she didn't get to do that this week. She's missing science lab today. She's missed art this week. Like, so just a lot of, she's just not having a good go of things. But she's keeping her spirits up. She's not been ill, really. She's just grumpy. She's a little bit cranky, and she's more fatigued than usual for not really doing much. I did come back negative, which I have no idea because I was having all kinds of symptoms, just like when I had my my injections, my vaccines, because I have now been through 3, and I've been, I think it's been 3 weeks, yeah, just over 3 weeks since I had my 3rd shot. But I had the headache. I literally for 4 days, ran a 99.0 to 100 degree temp, pretty much legitimately all day. So my body's been fighting something. I don't know what it is, but it's not that. Insert pandemic here. So we are holding our own. We both get to return back on Monday per our school's policies that follow along with the policies put out by the people who put out the policies. I guess it's the AAP and the CDC. I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain it's the CDC's recommendations, which will be exciting. I'm excited to get back in my groove because we only have 2 weeks till Thanksgiving break. I have 2 more art classes for each grade level, so 4 more art classes. And then things are really ramping up for my mom, and there's extra work that I've had to do for her, which actually has worked out quite well because I've been at home, and so I've been able to do that for her. I had to rethink my plans completely this week because I had to make them, I was going to start teaching a brand new platform to my kids, and I didn't want a sub to do that. Not that a sub couldn't do that, but I wanted them to hear it from me. So I had to rethink it completely on Sunday, which it has worked out fine. As far as I know, things are going well. I've kind of not checked in too much because I don't want it to be like, it's going terrible, because then I'm going to feel like rotten. Like rotten. So, not much going on this weekend. We are in quarantine all the way through Sunday, so there will be no church, no special anything. I could have filmed earlier in the week, but at this point I was like, I'll just wait till Friday. I just have really enjoyed stitching. I enjoyed kitting up some things yesterday, although we had a cold snap come through early in the week. It's been cold, like chilly. And I know y'all are thinking, oh, you Texans, Carol. Here's the problem. It's too early in Texas to turn on the heat because this is not a permanent situation. So, in this morning, our house was 61 degrees when we woke up. It is currently 66. We keep it at 72. It's chilly. So we're in like long sleeves. I'm in thermal sweatpants with wool socks and my fur-lined Crocs because my feet are always the thing that gets the most angry at me when it's cold. But we have a little small heater that used to be in my classroom that I can't have anymore because of our energy policies. And my old room stayed cold, like from this point forward. It was always chilly. So I keep it down by my feet. And I was like, ooh, we can put that on the kitchen counter. And so we put it on the kitchen counter, kind of blowing into our great room, our family room area. So that was nice. That kept things a little bit toastier. I think it helped it get up to that 66 degrees. But I'm hoping it will warm up because my body's not ready for the cold yet. Not yet. Anywho, I kind of rambled for a while. If you made it to this point, thank you so much for listening to what's going on in our life right now. After the nearly 2 years of this global situation, it felt inevitable that it was going to hit our home at some point. And I'm thankful, I'm grateful from the bottom of my heart that I was fully vaccinated plus. Obviously, Joyful Little One is not. They just opened it up for kids, like, ironically. They just opened it up for kids, like, this week, including her age. Now, she's going to probably be at least 90 days out because she's had it now. Anywho, long story short, that is kind of all I have for you today. I'm going to keep on stitching, keep my sanity. Sorry, I was looking to see what was going on. I'm starting to work on planner stuff for next year. I've ordered my I've shown you my stitching planner. I've ordered my 2022 planners from Hobonichi. I'll gladly do a video on that when it all comes, if there's anybody that's at all interested. I know it's not stitching content, but I'd love to share with you what I'm going to be using in 2022 for my like everyday planner, my weekly planner, and my scripture planner, and my journal. So if that all interests you, let me know in the comments down below. And with that, I think we're done. So I will sing to you once more. So long, stitch well. Excuse me. So long, stitch well. I'll see you soon, my friends. Goodbye. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.